Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video. Welcome to Bali, Indonesia. I'm actually in the capital today in Denpasar. I'm going to show you Bali's largest shopping mall. It's been open for 1 week, so maybe this is the first video on YouTube of the shopping center. Let's go check it out. So depending on when you're watching this, maybe you're watching within the first few days of it going on the channel, or you're watching it 6 months later, a year later. This is Living World Denpasar. That's the actual name of the shopping mall, Living World. And it's a big place. I've actually had a little bit of a walk around already, just to get a brief kind of idea of the layout of the place. Hopefully it's not going to be too long a video. There's some nice water fountains out the front here. They've still got some of the decorations up from the grand opening. And let me tell you, I just tried to go across the street to the convenience store to get a bottle of water, and it was a little bit hectic trying to cross the road, but this is Living World Denpasar. And there's really been nothing like this in Bali in the last few years, especially a new shopping center opening. So it's kind of exciting for the whole island, and I guess for people who like to go shopping a lot. So as you know, I like to do walkarounds of shopping centers and supermarkets. So while I'm here in Bali for a few days, I've literally got 2 days, today and tomorrow, then I'm back in Moscow. So again, depending on when you're watching this, I might already be back, you've seen other videos, but I've got to come and check out the largest shopping center in Bali, haven't I? So if you are coming here yourself, it's in Denpasar. It's about 30 to 45 minutes away from Kuta, Legian, Seminyak. So when I came today, I came by a taxi. There's basically Grab, Gojek, there's Bluebird. Maybe you have a driver they'll bring here, but this is the main drop-off point right here. There's a huge kind of a drop-off and pickup area. So if you've got a driver or taxi pickup, pretty much this main entrance is where you're going to end up getting dropped off and picked up from. It's pretty easy. And then as we swing around, this is the entrance right here. Now there's a security guard here who can check our bags. Of course, all the usual things you can't bring inside. One thing I found very funny or interesting is if you bring your dog here, it must have a diaper on. So you can bring your pet, just make sure it's looked after. All right, so let's head on inside. Let's finally get a bit of air conditioning. Oh, it's so nice coming into shopping malls and supermarkets in Bali because the air conditioning is just beautiful. Now, the one thing you're going to notice is there's still a lot of unopened stores here. So they did the full opening basically a week ago. You just walk past the cafe right here. Satay and seafood since 1974. So there's going to be lots of local branded stores here, and there's a few name brand stores. It's kind of a bit of a mix. It's kind of interesting. This front area has obviously not been filled out yet, but there's Harley Davidson right here. So if you need to get a t-shirt, Harley Davidson Club of Indonesia. I know lots of people like to collect them from around the world. So that's kind of neat. And as I walked in with my wife, she's gone off shopping, by the way, she is with me. She said here, these couple of people have got nice parking right at the front, but then it's a BMW dealership. So yeah, the BMWs in Bali. Yeah, it's kind of interesting just walking around here, especially in this entrance, because there's car dealerships in here. So whether these are just temporary and they'll end up changing them at some point down the track, but they've got Hyundai, they've got Toyota, and then there's a kind of an Indonesian / Chinese brand right here, which I haven't seen before, but obviously coming from Russia, there's lots of Chinese brands. Wuling is the name of this one right here, but I wonder at some point if they'll change this to more stores or cafes, but it's kind of a good way to fill up the shopping center. Initially, while there isn't all the stores here, this main island as you walk in, this is kind of like the ground floor entrance. So there is a lower ground floor, and then there's 2 more levels above us. So this is kind of interesting over here. This is kind of like pop-up stores. They kind of do these in different shopping centers around the world now, where they give an opportunity to local artists, local designers, local companies who can come and sell their wares rather than having a shop or online store. They've got all of these different brands covered kind of in this big open kind of pop-up store. That's the best thing I can describe it as. So there's probably about 50 or more brands here as you walk around, and they're all pretty much Indonesian brands in some kind. There'll probably be some Balinese ones as well. But if you're kind of coming shopping for something that no one else has, this would be the place if you're looking for kind of unique items. And there's a lot of brands that, you know, you probably never heard the name of because they're solely in Indonesia. But there's quite a lot of them. They go all the way back in this direction. And there's some more over here. Some shoe retailers here as well. So there's plenty of places to shop right as you walk in. That's not necessarily kind of a fixed store. So these might be kind of temporary. They might change them over time. They probably have some sort of short-term agreements, which is nice. So all of these brands. So if, I guess someone's a fashion designer here in Bali or somewhere else in Indonesia, they can come here and basically promote their wares and the brand. And it's a very nice idea. So on the lower ground floor here, they've actually got a food court. It's kind of like a food market actually, where they've got different kind of pop-up food stalls, very much like a night market or a day market you'd see here in Bali. And then you can see how big it goes up here. And have a look at this huge wooden ceiling here. The amount of work that goes into these wooden ceilings rather than traditional kind of steel shopping center. There's a lot of woodwork that they put into this place. So we'll kind of walk around and find some more interesting things. Now, if you are going to come to the shopping center, I would say to give yourself 2 or 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer. You could stop at one of the food courts for something to eat. It's not somewhere where you can kind of come for half an hour or an hour because there's so many little stores kind of dotted around that you've probably never seen before. I've never seen before, and you're gonna want to check it out. So just walking through this middle part of the shopping center, from the outside, the shopping center doesn't really look that big, but it kind of goes back a fair way. It's kind of an oblong-shaped shopping mall, and it goes all the way back. And then, of course, the lower level right here. We'll get to that in a second. And then I think what everybody's really come shopping and look at is Uniqlo. So Uniqlo is very much a worldwide brand, but they've just recently opened in Bali, so it seems to be very popular so far. Some of the other brands that are going to be coming soon, Giordano, so a lot of them in the kind of fit out stages, kind of preparing to be open maybe in the coming weeks, months. So they would have had a kind of a determined opening date. And these kind of places take a couple of years to build. So they would want to set that date and have it opened. And then whatever stores are opened around it, that's all the better for them. If they're here early, Casio watches. And then Uniqlo back here, the very popular store. So obviously we're not going to go in Uniqlo because it's an entire store in itself, but you can see here the store, if you've been to one before, no difference. The big difference, of course, in rupiah, there's a lot more zeros on the price tag. So that's just something to notice if you're not used to Indonesian rupiah. You know, the t-shirt right at the front there's 200,000 rupiah. It's like $12 or $15. Now, I don't really want to walk around the shopping center and sort of point out that every store is not open. I mean, that's not really the point of the video. The point is to kind of show everybody what this place looks like. I might be the first person on YouTube to do it as well. So it's an interesting video in itself. I wanted to come here a couple of weeks ago when I was first in Bali, but now I've got a couple of days left of our holiday. I thought it's a perfect time to come and make a video of this place. So just like in Moscow, Puma's not open. No, this is opening very soon. They've got all the racks inside. They've got some boxes for clothes. So Puma's not far away, it looks like. And then there's a kids store here. Toys Kingdom. I was gonna say Kingdom Toys. Huge toy store actually. All the brands. You can see Lego right out the front, Barbie. Pretty much every possible toy brand you can think of. Looks like there's gonna be ASICs over here. So maybe this sports stores. These are pretty cool. These ride-on bikes. These for the kids. Oh. Basically, when you come off a motorbike and come onto one of these, you need to have some good driving skills. And then over here on the right-hand side, there's lots of opticians. So what a lot of people do from Australia is they bring their prescription with them. So if you're maybe from Australia, maybe you've done that coming to Bali before, bring it into one of these opticians and you can get yourself some good value, cheaper frames here with your exact prescription. Now I'm not sure how the volume's coming out, but they've got the music very loud on this middle level here as well. So there's a shoe store here with Nike or Nike. I think you guys are going to correct me forever on that. Hoops Indonesia, kind of a multi-brand clothing store, mostly with basketball related stuff. I think from this upper level here, you get a good idea of the size of the shopping center, especially if you've come to Bali before and you haven't come to a shopping center, and you come to this place after walking the streets of Kuta and the beaches and Legian, you know, you're kind of really brought back to reality of normal shopping centers around the world. So this is kind of a big deal for these huge places to open here on the island, and so much kind of local flavor put into it here with these kites and all of the plants. And then part of being called Living World, there is a kind of an element of homewares and things for your house, apartment, bungalow, whatever you live in here, I guess, in Indonesia. But this is Informa. I keep wanting to say that song, Informa, but it's no, it's not right. But this is kind of, it's like a mix of an IKEA, of a kind of a homeware store, kitchen store. It's got everything in here, like, and more. And it's actually kind of the whole upper level here. So anything you want for your house, trinkets, knickknacks, appliances, anything. You can even have your kitchen designed at this place as well. This is Informa. And then check this out, up on the upper level as well, there's Fun World. So what you do, you bring your kids here, leave them to play on all the video games, and head on into the homeware store. And there's quite a bit of this upstairs, not open here as well. But I mean, over time, and even in the coming weeks and months, I'm not sure how that will work, but it'll fill out nicely, this place. And it's going to be full of a lot more brands of stores that we haven't sort of seen yet. Now, I think if a lot of people are from maybe Australia, America, I'm not sure Canada has Ace Hardware, or this is just called Ace. This is essentially a hardware store, homeware store. It's kind of somewhere kind of similar to Home Depot in America, Bunnings in Australia, B&Q. Now, I could do an entire separate video just on this place because it's absolutely massive. And I didn't realize, I had a bit of a quick walk around how big it is. It's actually over 2 levels, and I'm actually on the upper level here. So there's 2 different levels that you can come shopping in. But the amount of things in this place, it's kind of like the ultimate homeware store. And now Sam from Sam's Russian Adventures channel, you probably know, we've done a video together here and there. He was asking me about these stanchions, and they sell them in this hardware store. And it's kind of just funny because I would never know that you could buy them anywhere. Maybe you want yourself a podium for, what would you buy a podium for? For the entrance of your house, maybe? Maybe for a restaurant, I think. But Sam, if you're watching this, I found your stanchions right here in your roped area. They don't have the red carpet waiting for you, but close enough. So Ace Hardware, the store we just walked out of there is everything and anything for your house in there. There's also tools, there's any kind of appliances, anything for your kitchen. It's really far bigger than what I thought walking in there. I'm used to a smaller version of Ace Hardware we've got in Australia, so very neat place. I mean, if you live here, you can find anything you possibly need. As the bumblebee goes by right there. Now this machine down here may look a little strange, and I've been walking around the whole time, now probably about 2 hours before I started filming, and it smells so nice in here. There's like this fragrance that you get, and they've got fragrance machines or smell machines, I'm not sure what you call them, but I've been smelling this everywhere I walk, and I've just finally spotted it right here in the corner. Yeah, I know that's a bit of a weird thing to sort of point out in a shopping center video, but when you first walk in, you kind of really notice it. I guess they want to get rid of that kind of new shopping center smell, or that maybe concrete and tiling kind of smell, but that fragrance is very noticeable everywhere you're walking in here. So coming down to this lower level here, they actually have a bit of a food court kind of all the way through this lower level here. So there's sort of the kind of the traditional looking food court right here with a lot of brands. I don't recognize any of these names, so maybe these are local brands that have kind of made a kind of kitchen. They look more like kitchens than fast food places, but there's a ton of places to sit. I mean, if you're used to Indonesian food and you're maybe not from here, I mean, try something out. I mean, the prices are actually really reasonable, even for a shopping center. You know, if you compare it to going to the cafes, or in Bali they call them warungs. So there's some nice cakes here as well, and pastries. And the guy is making them right here. Oh, have a look at those. I think these are kind of with the fresh cream inside. They look very nice. And have a look at these croissants. We saw these a little bit earlier. Choco cheese croissants, cookies and cream. Do you see a favorite flavor? So yeah, this lower level, so there's this food court that's just behind me where we've walked. And there's kind of this big open area, then there's another food court further on, so let's check that out. Then here on the right hand side, they've kind of got these pop-up kind of stalls again, but there's lots of different food here, cakes, cookies, different breads. I noticed here they've got mango juice, or mango smoothies, right here, and the lady basically prepares them for you right there. Lots of kind of almost homemade looking things. These are actually bread, believe it or not. They look like donuts, but this one's actually got chicken. It's kind of bread with chicken filling in it, which is very nice. But yeah, it's a very interesting shopping center. If you've not been to one in Indonesia before, they have a very eclectic mix of things. So not that traditional just retail everywhere. It's more of a kind of a destination to come to, particularly on the weekends where people aren't working. It would be a nice, easy place to come and bring family. It's a bit of a little lake right here in the middle of the food area. No pets allowed in the Asian market. And I guess they kind of encourage them from outside. There's some fresh juices here. And this is kind of the market style that you're used to in Bali when you want to go and have something to eat. But they've kind of replicated it in the shopping center, which is very nice. So you kind of got that kind of festival kind of feel to the place. Want some fairy floss. There's cold pressed juices here as well. This is where I'm going to stop in a little while and get myself a drink. And they've mixed in some of the different handicrafts here, and these are all locally made. We actually had a look at these a bit earlier. These bags are made here in Bali. So yeah, then here is the rest of the food court over here. So I call this a food court. It's kind of a food market really, and lots of Indonesian dishes. So it's really a matter of, definitely if you come to this place and want to have something to eat, and the pictures are very helpful, but you make sure if you want something spicy or not spicy, make sure you tell them I want non-spicy or I want spicy, because it's a very popular thing that they'll just make it extra spicy or extra pedas. So, oh, looks like they've got satay here, and then not sure what's wrapped up in the banana leaves, but lots of food and lots of ladies kind of busy cooking away. But yeah, this is kind of middle of the afternoon. It's midweek. I mean, it's not expected to be as busy during the week as it would be kind of on the weekends. And as more and more people know about it, and it's just going to gradually get busier. Yeah, it's a big place as well. I mean, for a shopping center in Bali, you don't realize as you're walking just how big it is. It just keeps going and going. Now, I wonder if anyone's had durian before. This is this spiky looking thing. If it falls out of the tree and hits you, it's going to hurt. But durian is popular in Indonesia, in the Philippines. It kind of looks a bit like kind of a mango kind of inside, but it's got this kind of smell to it and taste to it that you either love it or hate it. So let me know in the comments, have you had durian before? In Bali, a lot of the hotels don't let you bring durian in the hotel because of the smell and where people leave it in their room. Very interesting fruit. So one thing I like about the shopping center, especially down here at this kind of food court part, this open market, is they've tried to replicate what you'd get outside on the street. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but they're trying to kind of keep a lot of traditions in Bali in place here and not try to go down that route of having all the branded food outlets. So there isn't KFC here, there isn't Burger King here, there isn't McDonald's here. It's all local food, and more than likely local vendors as well. So it's kind of very nice that, oh, no worries. Yeah, so it's very nice that they've not gone down that kind of, you know, McDonald's, get the kids eating normal, well, you know, Western food or Indonesian food at best. So here we are on this sort of last part of the walk around now. This is this lower ground floor. And how cool does it look? I think it does anyway. Just all the finishings, you know, they've not just done that kind of traditional concrete and plasterboard kind of finishing. They've got the nice woods, they've got the grasses, they've got these kind of, even these like balconies over here. They've tried to keep some Balinese traditions in the shopping center. And I think that's definitely a good thing, that when you come here, you're not sort of taken too far away from Bali when you're walking around. Now I thought I'd just come down to this lower ground floor here. This is the underground parking here. And I just thought this was kind of interesting. Of course, this is a brand new shopping center, right? Brand new. So it's just so shiny and everything is kind of perfect. There's not a spot of dust or dirt on the floor. It's very interesting as well. The car park's not very full, but a lot of people in Indonesia, by the way, ride motorbikes or scooters. And then pretty much these cars you'll see here will be definitely family cars that have come to the shopping center. But it's just so shiny and glossy down here. You know, it's not that kind of tarmac or cement that you'd be used to. They've really kind of finished it off so well. Now I'm pretty much going to finish up just about here in a second or two, but I just thought you'd be outside here and all the finishing of the gardens at the back of the shopping center. So rather than just, you know, walling it off and making it kind of the back of the shopping center, the river runs right through here. Now it does look a little bit chocolate brown, but that's pretty normal in a lot of the rivers in Bali. But you can actually go for a walk there. There's actually a path that leads all the way around this kind of river's edge. But so nice, they've kind of completed all of this. They could have left this kind of untouched and really made an absolute mess of it, really, but they've kind of finished off this whole back area, and they can actually hold events here. They've got a big stage, or they're calling it an amphitheater, but it's very nice. They can hold events. They've got these really nice flowers. I imagine this was for the opening. They had this set up, but the amount of stonework here and paving and finishing off. Here's the exit to the huge above ground car park. So you've kind of got the underground one where we walk through, and then this massive multi-level car park. Here's the main amphitheater right here. But they, at some point they would hold events. I'm not sure, maybe concerts here. There'll be some sort of traditional dances. But this is a lot of work to build this back part, let alone the shopping center itself. And you can see up the top there where people are kind of walking to and from their cars and how big it is. And there's a lot of finishing work in this. Shopping, you don't sort of realize how much work they've actually had to do to get it to this point. Okay everybody, I want to thank you for watching the video today of Living World Denpasar. I hope you found it interesting. Maybe you're watching this because you searched for it on YouTube or Google and you wanted to come to some shopping centers here in Bali. And if you get out here, again, it's about 30 to 45 minutes from Kuta, Legian, Seminyak area. So just keep that in mind. There is going to be a little bit of traffic depending on the time of day you come as well. So just be patient with that. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Post a comment. Let me know what you think, how interesting it is, you know, the differences between where you live. Thanks for watching, everybody. I put another video for you to watch right after this one. So if you want to see another video on the channel that maybe you haven't seen before, click that right after this one. And I'll go off now. I'm going to go and stop for a drink because I'm just thirsty from walking around. I want to get one of those mango juices that we saw. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.